Today we're escaping side control. The first thing I do is bump with my hips to get room for an underhook. I don't get enough room, so I bump again. Because I got his hands to the mat, I have plenty of room now for the underhook, and start to rotate my body towards him. As he sprawls, I lose my underhook, and I can't reach his leg either. But with his legs now in front of my arms, I've significantly improved my position, as I now shoot my legs in front of his hips to regard. He can't get a strong crossface on me, so he switches his arm positioning and switches his hips. I then reach around for a reverse underhook and hit him with the hip bump style octopus guard sweep. It starts off with him really driving his weight to my left, which makes him a bit more susceptible to a reversal, but also makes it harder for me to escape to my right. I'm patient and wait for him to adjust his weight away from my left side. I then bump to my side and take an underhook. I'd like to keep driving his weight forward and keep his hands on the mat so I can pop my head out the back door, similar to this. But he backs his weight up, so instead I start attacking his leg to wrestle and then find the opportunity to hit a sit out and accomplish what I originally wanted of popping my head out so I can take the back. I love the sit out, it's one of my favorite moves to hit. I teach it and more in my newly released BJJ beginner course. Escaping side control using underhooks is overall my #1 game plan, and this time I find the underhook not by bumping but as he transitions his grips, though it is a shallow underhook that can be used against me if I'm not careful, especially as he directs his weight to that underhook. As he adjusts his weight, he starts to frame on my neck. I notice space to be able to push his hips and shrimp back. This is basically the standard bump and shrimp side control escape minus the bump. I couldn't get a firm grasp on his legs with my legs for a solid guard, and as I try to, he counters nicely by jumping his legs to the other side. But before he can settle his weight, I'm already sneaking in that underhook and getting onto my side. But he again counters nicely. He starts to go around my head to negate the underhook. So I make sure to get to my knees so I don't get smashed down to the mat or get my back taken. From here, I make it a priority to keep my arms in front of his legs. I would have liked to grab his right leg to prevent his ankle change, but I have to settle for his left leg. From here, he could potentially take my back with that leg trapping my arm, but I'm aware of that and I hide my back from him by changing my angle, and I'm able to grip his legs with mine to regard. This one starts off with him very heavy on my left side, which again makes it difficult to escape to my right. He has a very tight crossface and now controlled my hips on the same side. I'm definitely not going to be able to escape to my right from here, so I try to use his weight placement against him by framing on his armpit to push away from him and make space. However, the move really wasn't there and I just tried for it anyways. This is what I was trying to do. He still has that tight crossface, so I just stay patient and find relief when he tries to advance to mount, which is so often a great time to try and regard. What he needed to do was get his foot in front of my knee. He then have greater ability to keep his weight on me using his hips. Here I'm able to bump him forward a little and make space to get my knee between our hips, and then escape with a back take. Something that I've learned from teaching and doing jiu-jitsu is that your performance isn't just about your effort and your technique. It's about the system that your body runs on. If one piece of the system is off, then everything downstream gets affected. And one part of the system that most people don't even think about is electrolytes. They're the signals that your muscles and nerves use to communicate. And if those signals get weaker, your movement will become less precise, your reactions will slow down, and your body just won't operate at its best. And that's why I started drinking Element, because it gives you everything that your body loses through sweat. No artificial sweeteners, no junk. Just the right amount of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, the minerals that your body needs. Since I started drinking Element, I really feel like my baseline of training has gotten a lot higher. I'm especially enjoying their chocolate caramel flavor, which you can enjoy hot, which is perfect for these cooler seasons. As well as their new sparkling cans, they are awesome. And now you can grab a free sample pack with any Element order so you can try their most popular flavors. Get yours at drinkelement.com/JordanTeaches. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinkelementT.com/JordanTeaches. Here I again stay patient. The best time to escape is more often than not when the top player is trying to transition, which is true for submissions, but especially true for entering into mount when it comes to escaping side control. He also uses the low knee on belly mount entry, but also isn't able to get his foot in front of my knee, and I again am able to insert my knee between our hips and re-guard. The last two examples were cases of simply being too eager to transition, not prioritizing control enough as they try to advance. This exact same scenario happens again here. My buddy Harry is back, and after a quick failure in the last round, he seems eager to redeem himself in this round. He starts to block my hip with his hand, which is a clear sign to me that he's looking to get to north-south. I'm hoping to use my left arm to push off of Harry and make space, although I know that placing it here leaves me vulnerable to his attack. He starts to isolate my arm and enter into an armbar. I know I'll be safest from his attack by getting to my knees, so that's what I prioritize, though I'm still not out of danger. Especially as I roll to my back, I know I need to free my elbow as I do, otherwise I'm screwed. But I take the chance and I get my elbow out of there to escape. I get to my side so he can't smash and pin me down, and then transition my underhook to his legs and wrestle him down. Maybe you noticed, but against the lower belts, I put myself at a disadvantageous position by positioning my arm behind their head, and against the higher belts, I take safer arm positioning. Here he should have taken advantage of my arm positioning and prioritized keeping my elbow separated from my body and arm isolated. This would make it easier for him to attack and harder for me to escape. But he doesn't, and I eventually find room for an underhook, which he negates by shifting his body weight while trying to enter mount. But I again take advantage of his attempt and put him in quarter guard. Although I have my guard back, quarter guard like this is more so 3/4 mount for him. It isn't a great position for me, which is why I prioritize positioning my knee in front of his knee for half guard, which I turn into butterfly guard and sweep him. Here you can see that I take safer arm positioning to start the round. He starts to pull out my lapel to use it against me. I use this opportunity while he's transitioning his grips to take an underhook, but his crossface is keeping me from rotating, and I need to rotate to use that underhook effectively. Although he gave up the underhook while he was getting a hold of my lapel, it proved to be a worthy risk because I wasn't able to do anything with it, and that lapel grip is really keeping me pinned, especially now that he's transitioned to knee on belly. Now I'm pretty stuck as I can't turn towards him, and turning away from him in this situation will likely give him my back. So I stay patient, but now I also have to worry about the threat of the choke. Eventually I'm able to rotate towards him a bit and shrimp out to get his knee off of me and onto the ground. Now I try to invert in a desperate attempt to get control of him with my feet and re-guard, but no luck. He keeps attacking the choke, but as he postures up to sink it in deeper, he leaves some space, so I shrimp out in an attempt to insert my bottom knee between us. I'm unable to, but my escape is threatening enough for him to rush into mount, and I catch his leg in the process to re-guard. I would say that one of the main takeaways from this video is that when I try to force or rush things is usually when I fail, and when my opponents try to force or rush things, it's when they fail. Being patient on both ends often yields better results. Alright, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to pick up my new beginner course and let me know what position you'd like me to do next. Alright, thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. If you're still here, please leave a comment or a fist bump, and I'll see you guys next time.